I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another live watch party with the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm your host, Jack Richardson, set to bring you reaction to the Ottawa Senators visiting the Philadelphia Flyers, the last game before the Olympic break. I can't believe we're already here. It's been a bit of a ride since we've done these live watch parties. Had a lot of fun doing it. We're going to continue after the break. But as always, we want to let you know that this is brought to you in part by the Glebe Central Pub. If you're looking for a place that lives and breathes hockey, Glebe Central Pub is the spot right in the heart of the Glebe, just steps from Lansdowne. It's the perfect place to catch every game, every night. Great food and drink, and even better company. But GCP is about more than just catching the big game. There's something happening almost every day of the week to appeal to every taste. Start your week with Wing Day every Monday, all day and all night. Trivia night goes Tuesday, so bring your crew and put your knowledge to the test. Wednesdays, it's open mic night. Whether you play, sing, or just want to kick back and listen, it's a great way to celebrate Hump Day. Thursdays are all about cheap tacos, and of course, Saturday night features live music with no cover ever. Whether it's hockey, live music, or just a night out with friends, make Glebe Central Pub your home base because, as you know, the vibes are free at the GCP. Obviously, folks, unexpected storyline for this game tonight. Expected Linus Ullmark to be making the start. He was the first goalie off at morning skate. It was all systems go from all intents and purposes, what we heard from Travis Green this morning as well. But then right around 5 o'clock, the Sens put out a notice saying that Ullmark is experiencing flu-like symptoms and he will not play tonight, and Hunter Shepard has been called up. So it'll be James Reimer going in back-to-back games. He played Tuesday in Carolina, did not get the win, let in 4 goals on 18 shots. And in a game now that the Senators need to win, obviously they're not eliminated from playoff contention tonight if they lose, but leaving tonight with a sour taste in the mouths after going into the Olympic break would be not ideal. Let's put it that way. I'm just watching the pregame ceremony here for the Flyers and Sens. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Oh, they're honoring their Olympians. That makes sense. That's what the Sens did. They don't have a flag out there for them. They're kind of just standing out there like Hunger Games tributes a little bit, but oh well. I got distracted by that. That's my bad. But yeah, look, I'm not thrilled that Linus Ullmark's not playing. Obviously, if he's got the flu, he can't play, but it was clearly a very sudden thing, and it sucks. Let's put it that way. The starting goaltender has the flu or flu-like symptoms, whatever's going on. And an emergency backup wasn't on the ice for warm-up. God forbid that he needs to go in the net because he's not ready to play, Hunter Shepard. So let's just hope that James Reimer can kind of have a good go here. I don't know when he found out he was starting, if he found out right when we did that he was starting. I hope it was earlier than that when he was down for pregame nap. Whatever the case may be, James Reimer has the pipes. He has 1 game this season over a .900 save percentage. Not ideal. But nonetheless, the Sens should still win this game. This is not an excuse by any means. However, it will absolutely be a storyline if the goaltending woes continue here tonight and Ullmark was not in net. Big night for the Sens. They played a great game against Carolina on Tuesday. We've all talked about it. Disappointing result, a bit of a brain fart, ends up in the back of their net as the game winner. Unfortunate, but obviously I know that it's frustrating not having the starting goalie in net there. I get it. I'm with you, everyone. I am. But for the game tonight, depending how it goes, we're just going to focus on the team. Like I said, the Flyers are not exactly a team that scares you offensively, so you're not necessarily thinking that their odds are much worse without Ullmark in net tonight. But again, he's your starter. He's your guy. He just came back, looked good in those games that he played, and he's not playing tonight. We won't see Linus Ullmark until after the Olympic break now. But it goes to James Reimer, and we'll see what he's able to do. So a bit of a different schedule here for tonight. No Pilsy joining me tonight, so it'll just be me through the first period and the second period. And in the second intermission, Callum Fraser is going to join me for our road period intermission chats, and we'll just talk. I'm going to ask Callum a bit more about the Olympics because I've actually talked to him a couple times this week. And there probably won't be much different to discuss about the team in the past few days, right? So maybe just what we're expecting to see in the Olympics from certain Senators and maybe just the Olympics in general. Obviously, there's no Sens on the Team Canada, so it's going to feel a little bit weird, but we'll be talking Olympics. I'm sure everyone's going to want to be talking about that. So Reimer did beat Colorado. He did. And I didn't mean to point out his save percentage that he's been bad. I think his stats aren't as flattering as he's looked. I will say, however, he has not looked the best in the last few appearances. I would say I've been a little less confident in him as games have gone on, especially when Ullmark has been back. But his role was to play a backup here. And since Ullmark's return, I feel like he's played more than he hasn't. So I don't think that that's nothing to talk about. But again, depending how this game goes, if they let in a couple of goals and score a bunch more, it won't be a topic of conversation. We won't have to worry about it. But unfortunately, a headline coming into this game, even for the team. I know we like to talk about it from a fan's perspective and get all nervous. Oh, where's Ullmark? What's he doing? What's going on? If you're a player on that team, that sucks. Getting that news, he just came back after a long leave. And I know he's sick. But as a player, depending what they saw, like maybe he's in the bathroom not doing well. It's flu-like symptoms is what they said. And maybe they saw it and they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's not doing great. But you almost hope that's the case because the players are probably frustrated as well because thinking they've got a goalie behind there and now they've got Reimer behind. I know that it's the same thing. You just got to go out and play. But any player who says that is lying. It's not the same. You play differently in front of certain goalies depending on their skill level. And it's asinine to say that the Sens are going to act differently with Reimer or not act differently with Reimer and net than they would with Ullmark because Ullmark is clearly the better goalie. So I got that out of the way. It was kind of breaking news the last couple hours. I'm sure if people maybe are just joining and had no idea, Ullmark is not starting. He has flu-like symptoms. He's not on the bench. Hunter Shepard is on the way in the building in Philly, whatever he is. So we move on. They showed the anthems there, which is interesting. I guess that pregame ceremony is going to take a little while or whatever. So they're in commercial break here. I will talk everyone through where I am in the game, what we're seeing, and kind of keep things going here. So, a big game from Reimer would obviously go a long way. That would be huge if Reimer can show up and kind of just quiet all that down. But for a team with the team worst save percentage, to not have their starting goalie in a game that they absolutely need to win is a bit of a gut punch. Gut punch before the puck is even down. So let's see how this goes tonight. And it might open a can of worms here, folks, about the goaltending situation in Ottawa, which is unfortunately defining this season in more ways than one. Yeah, Carter, we've talked about that. So I'm going on a trip for the bulk of when the Olympic Games are going to be. So I won't be available, but I think Thursday is Canada's first game. And Ross and I have kind of talked about doing it. It's in the morning though, so we'll see. But I'd love to sit down with a cup of coffee and watch Canada's first game. I think they're playing Czechia. So it's actually a pretty good game. They're probably what's going to be their hardest of the group stage. So I'd love to. If everyone's down for that, we would talk about doing that for sure. We'll see though. Excuse me. Yeah, and like I said, it's not like they're playing a team. The Sens are better than the Flyers, don't get me wrong, but offensively, if they were playing a team that isn't as good but has all these offensive weapons, I'd be a lot more scared now not having your better goalie in net. Reimer's numbers are not good. They're not pretty at all. But again, he hasn't had the best performances in front of him. You got the Colorado game and Tuesday, but before that, it was pretty rough. So I'd say that if it was a team, I'm trying to think of a team that's like highly offensive powered, but not the best overall. Like if they were playing like the San Jose Sharks or something, or give me a team in the East here. I'm completely blanking. Like even the Capitals or something like that. And I could completely eat my words. This could be a good clip for Flyers fans. I don't know, but I know that they're not feeling too good about their team right now. I think they've won 3 in their last 13 games or something, including their last game. So they are coming off a win, but man, I mean, the Sens have been playing some good hockey. The team's been playing great. It's just been, obviously they lost that game on Tuesday, and obviously the puck is down now. So I should have also just said that. So puck down. We've got 19:40 on the clock right now. That's where I'm at in the game. If anyone wants to line up with me, you just let me know, and we'll walk you through this one. I'm excited, man. This is the last game before the break again. Like I think in about a week we're gonna miss Sens hockey. So it's been a lot of games in a short amount of time for these players, and a lot of them have earned the break. Like I said, the results all season have not reflected how well this team has played, and I think that's really frustrating for guys like Stützle and Sanderson and Tkachuk to an extent, and Batherson, who have just put up career years to this point, and they find themselves in not a great spot in the standings right now. A win would change that. A win would change that tonight. It would make them feel a lot better about where they are heading into the break. But again, they got their work cut out for them post-break, and it's going to have to be all systems go right from the drop of the puck in that first game back. But we'll just see how they do tonight first. I'll try and keep it small picture, but again, forgive me for going big picture. It's just me for the bulk of the stream tonight. I'm going to do my best. That's got to be too many men there on the Flyers, no? All right. First couple of shifts down, top two lines went out there. Not really much doing for either team so far. And it looked like the Flyers just iced it. Nope, never mind. No icing. Got the shutdown line out there against Zegras, who had a really good start for the Flyers, but I'd imagine he's also trailed off like everyone else on their team. I really like Owen Tippett and here he is with the puck right now, coming through the center. He's a very good skater, but he can't get his shot past Sanderson. He blocks it. 18 minutes on the dot. But yeah, I really like Owen Tippett on the Flyers. He's a good player. I kind of agree here. I think Reimer deserves some redemption. And look, I think the guys put it well. I was a little bit harder on Reimer after Tuesday's game than I should have been. It was reactionary. That's what these live streams were about. It was a frustrating kind of outcome. They didn't have that one moment where he made a nice save and kind of saved them. But I'm not blaming that on him. Like, that was just a bad mistake by Jordan Spence on that change, and they shouldn't have been down 3-1 in the first place. So it's difficult, but here comes Halliday with a bit of space. Oh, he got decked at center. And then slashed pretty hard, it looked like. He's all right, though. Yeah, like a little redemption for Reimer would be good there. Look at Green and Tkachuk laughing about something. Travis Green has 213 career wins as a coach, and 72 of them have been with the Sens. Looking for number 73 tonight. Zetterlund throws one a bit wide of the net. Goes all the way out. I've really liked this line. Zetterlund, Halliday, and Eller. For their limited minutes, they've done pretty well. And I think Lars Eller, man, like, you can't be expecting offense with him. And I think that's a change we have to make in our heads after Gaudette left, because Gaudette was an offense first guy. There's Clevin at the top. Big rebound. Wow. And look at this fourth line. Best shift of the night so far for the Sens. All four got some ice time, and the fourth line gets the most pressure. And here comes Greg and Tkachuk on a change. This is what you want to do. If you're the fourth line, just set up the next line for an offensive shift, and then you're golden. And that's what they've done right here. Get Greg, Tkachuk, and Cousins. Puck comes out. I think this line needs to do a little more. They were probably the quietest line in Carolina. They weren't bad, but just not as dominant as we've seen, you know. There's icing on the Flyers. There's a good look from Clevin there, and a huge rebound by Vladar. I'm going to sit back here, get comfortable. Last game before the break. We got to get comfortable. Yeah, Tyler Clevin with the hardest shot in the NHL recorded. That's crazy. Oh, Timmy just got burnt by someone. But he got his stick in there. There we go. He was back on defense covering for Shabbat, I think, or Jensen. Claude Giroux, former Flyer. Timmy's got it in the slot now. Back to Zub. I think that was stopped. What a season Stutzel's having, man. It's so good, and I can't believe they're not doing better in the standings with how well their best two players are playing. Here they go, flashing up the defensive ranks. Third in expected goals against, second in shot attempts, third in shots on goal, second in slot shots, first in slot passes, and second in high danger chances against. That's a cup contender defensively. That's crazy. All those numbers are awesome. But they are not in a playoff spot. 57 games in. They could be 6 points out with a win tonight, which I would consider striking distance. That's like 3 games back if you think about it that way, even though they don't play the Bruins. I'll do some standings talk maybe in the first intermission, but and I know the boys have talked about it, but they're starting, for a few weeks now, I've been looking at Boston and maybe Buffalo a little bit as teams you got to chase, but they're kind of chasing 4 teams, and they're a bit further behind Detroit and Montreal, but I don't know, man. Like those 4, I feel like someone might fall off a little bit, and I'm looking at the Red Wings. The Red Wings annually have a little bit of a dip in the second half of the season, depending where they are. And maybe the pressure of breaking their playoff drought gets to them. Here's Tkachuk at the side of the net, behind the net, out front, no stick on it. Like, you got to hope on it, but they might sag a little bit. I think they're 2-3-2, so they have a little bit, but they gotta. They've given themselves enough of a cushion where maybe they're able to have a little bit of a sag in March, and then they won't miss the playoffs. I'm just saying those are teams we might need to start watching if the Sens can get hot. But I saw someone else pointed out on Twitter, until the Sens prove they can win 5 games in a row, 5+, they're going to have to do that. There's no reason to be scoreboard watching every night, Like, you win this one, you go 5-1 in your last 6 games before the break. That's a stretch. That's a run. But you lose this, I'm not getting excited about a 4-2 run, So, and especially an 0-2 right before the break when you're that far out of it already. So it's a big game. Optics-wise, it's a big game. Here's Zetterlund making a hard move to the net, and Vladar's got it. But it's been a good start. I think another thing, I'm buzzing with thoughts right now. I just think also that with the way these games have gone this season and the amount of games they've lost because of goaltending when they deserved better, the stop me if you've heard this before in 56 games, but they deserved better than they got tonight. At some point, it's a gut check thing for the group. It's a gut check thing for the entire team of skaters where, yes, you have bad goaltending, but just go out and find a way to win the game in those moments. And the opposite of a gut check time is what Jordan Spence did and that change that he made. And the turnover and not getting it deep in that moment. It's things like that kind of make playoff teams, So I talked a lot last game. These are the types of games that other opponents in the Atlantic are able to get to overtime, at least, if they don't have their best. And the Sens tied it, and I felt good about it, and then they gave it away in the final 5 minutes. So here's Timmy working on Zegras, and he loses it. Flyers alone in the slot. Nice stick by Zub. No shot on goal. Zegras has it again. Up high. Sifted in. I don't think Reimer made a save there. They counted that as a shot, but I think they'll take that away because he looked like he blockered it over the net, and I don't think it was going in. Here's Hathaway. Does Hathaway still have no points? There was a time, I think at least 40 games in, he had zeros across the board, which is crazy. Giveaway by Clevin. Zetterlund's hunting it down. This fourth line's getting some minutes here early. I like it. Brady gets it deep. But out come the Flyers. Not a ton of sustained O-zone time for the Sens right now. Jensen's got some speed here. Obviously, last game before the Olympics, you're going to watch those the Sens Olympians. It's on the ice right now. It's Eller, Stutzla, Kachuk, and Sanderson. Matt and Paolo is in the press box. So he'll be nice and fresh for Team Finland. And then Sogard, who was in Belleville, who already played his last game. But last game before the break for these guys. Big deal. I think we're going to a commercial here. That was the first shot on goal for the Flyers. What are you thinking in the chat here? For those of you who are just tuning in, if you are, Linus Olmark has flu-like symptoms. So it is James Reimer tonight. It was a last-minute switch, which is okay. If you're just joining us, I might have to keep reminding people of that all day, the whole stream. Just looking through the chat here, trying to see. I do my best not to check it during the play. I want to check for Garnet Hathaway. I really think he has no points this season. There was absolutely a time. Let's find it. Teams. I'll put it here so I'm not staring right at everyone. I'm taking the long way to find it, but I will. Garnet Hathaway has 1 goal and 1 assist in 2 points in 46 games this season for the Flyers. A goal and an assist in 46 games with the Flyers. I'm cursing it. He's going to score tonight for sure. That's how this is going to work. And he got his assist a couple games ago. Wow. That's a remarkable stat line. It's a lot of hockey to play. Cue the Garnet Hathaway goal tonight. I've just done it. I've jinxed it. All right, we're back. Did they just show the Shepherd? Oh, good chance there for Pinto. Shane Pinto needs a goal. Shane Pinto needs a goal so badly. I saw something that he had 8 goals in his first 10 games. Now he has 7 since. Need a bit more from Shane Pinto offensively. I know he's been great defensively. Need more. They also took that shot away from the Flyers. Still no shots. No stick for Vladar there, too. Did he not go 5? Go 5 hole if he's got no stick. What? Come on. Shot it right at the logo. We call that the Richardson target. Is that a penalty on anyone? Nope. Okay. Nothing illegal happened on that play. Nice backtracking by Timmy there. And look at him go. Look at the German go. So Hunter Shepard has made it to the bench. He was not in warm-up. He did not take warm-up as the backup tonight. Jensen rings it around. Up to Timmy. Batherson was taken down. The Flyers get it back. Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale. Timmy behind the net. Nice play by Nick Cousins in the neutral zone. Pinto, another good chance. I do think it's good if he's around it. If you're not scoring, and at least you got to be generating chances. So Pinto's had a lot of looks the last few games, so that's good. Oh, and here come the Flyers. Bit of a break. Oh, Konechny couldn't, or that's Hathaway. Couldn't keep it on his stick. Not much sustained zone time for the Sens so far. Yeah, Shepard was late. Oh, here's Dylan Cousins in the zone now. Wired one. Well, Brady with a bit of a reverse hit. Greg, fanned on it. Nice play by Kachuk down low. Oh, what a play. Cousins in front. It's good work by Brady. Got a couple good chances out of that. Shots are 6-0 early. Not giving up much, but just starting to generate. That was a great... Pinto hit the post. Pinto hit the post. He can't score, folks. He can't score. That's a great play. Volchenkov might be the answer today. I went with the Expos hat. I don't know why. I think they won last time I wore it. Who else on the Flyers? Let's see who else we should be looking out for here. Konechny's is a point per game, which isn't a surprise. He's a great player. Zegras, 48 points. Okay. Dvorak's having a decent season. Tippett's actually a bit disappointing points-wise. 35 and 55 games. Nothing much popping up here. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I don't pay a ton of attention to the Flyers, so... Matvei Michkov is obviously their big prospect superstar, and he's not having a great sophomore season. And obviously, I don't know if people caught Rick Tocchet talking about Michkov not being prepared for training camp. Bit of a disaster, if you ask me. Got the standings pulled up right now, too. The Flyers are 1 point behind the Sens, so a win tonight would push them above them. Yeah, it's a must-win. It's a must-win. No way around it. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, got that pulled up. Sabres and Penguins are tied 1-1. Hurricanes beating the Rangers. That's really the only game that matters. I guess the Panthers and the Lightning, too. That's not started yet. Yeah, must-win game. Must-win game for the Sens. Got to generate some more looks. They've had a couple good ones, but maybe one of those games where the power play just has to take over again. It was good in Carolina. Surprisingly good in Carolina, which was good. It needed a bounce back. Here's the Flyers in the zone now. Michkov has it down low. He's got it again behind the net. Flyers are kind of going to work here. Shabbat does nice work to get it back. Here he comes up the middle of the ice. Gets a shot on net. And keeps it alive. And Halliday and Eller in on the forecheck. And they get the puck back up high. But it comes out. A lot of minutes here for this fourth line. They've been pretty much working with a regular shift here early on. Eller might have just taken a penalty, though. Oh, arm is down. Zegras just tried to hit Zub and realized that's a bad idea. Nice play by Zetterlund, and Eller gets it in and deep. And out comes the Timmy line. Just rolling 4 lines here, Travis Green. Oh, here's Tippett. Oh, the camera switched there, but it looked like he had a lane. I don't even know if he got a shot off. Almost 7-minute mark of the first period and no shots for the Flyers yet. 7 for the Sens. Cleven's got it behind the net. Just holding it. Now Giroux. The Flyers break out. Batherson's got a bit of space. End of a shift, though, for him. Dumps it in. Flying by this period. Not much happening. This might be a boring game. But boring games are okay if they get the 2 points. Again, no shots given up here yet. Reimer gets his first touch by playing it behind the net. I shouldn't say first touch. He's touched it a couple times, just not counted as shot. So he has seen some action. And here's another look for the Flyers. Couturier. Whoa, that was open across rink, but he didn't get connected. Sens kind of get lucky there. They get lucky. The Kachuk line going to work now, and it gets out of the zone. No sustained pressure. A lot of one and done. I like these Flyers jerseys, like with the white shoulders, but the problem is the white shoulders because I feel like when you, at first glance, you kind of think it's your jersey. Like that's a big part of their jersey that's white. You know? It's very similar. Like there's been a couple times so far where I've been like, oh, is that a Senator? No, it's a Flyer. If I'm being crazy, let me know. But I feel like that's just my initial reaction with them. Sanderson's got Michkov on him. Zub up to Lars Eller again. Here's that fourth line, another shift. I mean, to be honest, I keep commenting how they get a regular shift here. They're the only ones who are generating anything of substance. Like they keep doing their best to set up the next line, and the next line does nothing. It's been 15 minutes of it. So I would keep throwing them out too. Oh, never mind. They got the Timmy line out. They avoided a matchup there. That was a quick change by the Sens because they wanted to get their guys out. Giroux almost worked. Timmy's got it on the half wall now. Gets it down deep to Shabbat. Batherson behind the net gets tied up, but he gets it back. Out front, Shabbat stopped. Good look for Shabbat there. Oh boy, here come the Flyers now. Tippett and Zegras. Tippett just missed the net. That was a good try. Another shot. All right, there's Reimer's first official save. Surely that's a save. Looks like they're counting it. All right, first stop. Flyers have some pressure here, though. Sanheim, stopped by Reimer. All right, there we go. Nice stops. Nice saves. Like, those are going to happen, man. The Sens are going to have possession, dominate the shot clock, but there's going to be an end of a shift, whatever, where the Flyers get 2 looks like that. You need your goalie. You need your goalie. 2 routine saves for James Reimer and no blood. That's all you need. Those weren't dangerous looks, but just stop the ones you're supposed to stop. All we ask. Yeah, I'm going to do this basically every commercial break. If you are late, it's Reimer because Linus Ullmark has flu-like symptoms. That is what the team announced at around 5:15, 5 o'clock. Hunter Shepard is backing up. So Ullmark is not even on the bench, not dressed. He has flu-like symptoms, according to the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, those were Philly's first shots. That was interesting, though. So they clearly wanted Timmy's line against whoever was out there and away from their own matchup, maybe. Maybe that's what that was. Because they had Eller come out and it was a bit of a regroup, and then all of a sudden they switched to Timmy's line very quickly before they even got like a good look. So that's bench management right there. We'll see if they do that more. I like watching that. I think Green is really good at getting his guys out there when he needs them. Like that Pinto line is out there even on the road most times against the other team's top line somehow, which is crazy. All right, we're back. 4 minutes left in the first. 8-2 are the shots, and not much doing for either team. Like the Sens have had more looks, but not better ones necessarily. It's been a pretty boring first period, which, knowing the way the Sens play and judging by Rick Tocchet and the Flyers, you're probably taking that. For like both teams are probably taking that, I'm saying. Me, as a spectator, I'm not taking it. I want stuff to talk about. There's Eller out there with Pinto and Gregg. It's probably middle of a change right now. Eller over to Ridley Gregg. Tried to throw it out front for Pinto. Get Lars Eller in the corner, man. Gregg has it up top with some space. Oh, wired that high. Maybe that wasn't a middle of a line change. Eller, Pinto, and Gregg, really? For the face-off, maybe? I don't think that's a line they're trying to go with. And the Sens ice it. Okay. Face off in the D zone. Dylan Cousins loses it. The Flyers have it on the blue line. Oh, Cousins turned it over. Now Michkov's got it behind the net. Pass out to York. He missed the net. Couple turnovers there for Ottawa. Got lucky. Cousins blew a tire. Now the Flyers are back in. All right, 2 minutes left. Jensen with a little spin move behind the net. All right, Nick Jensen. That's a nice move. Cousins steals it behind the net. Nick Cousins, that is, or Brian. Drops it to Chabot. He misses the net. Here's some pressure now. Halliday to Chabot, and that's blocked. Feels like they're not really getting to those dirty areas on offense right now. They're just kind of making a couple of hope plays, which is okay if you don't have your ace stuff. But again, they've been playing really well lately, so it's kind of, this isn't bad necessarily, but just not wow right now. It's so funny with Jensen. Like, I get he's having a bad season, but he had a couple of nice plays on that shift, and I just look at the chat, and it's all just Jensen wiped out. Like, I saw that too at the end of it, but it's just funny that that's what everyone's pointing out, not the nice puck movement he had, And I'm not saying that people need to compliment him every time he does something good. It's just funny that that's what gets pointed out all the time. But it is a result of a lot of bad play this season. All right, under a minute left. Sens are kind of messing around with it behind their own net, and they lose it. Zegras has it now, and the ref's calling a penalty with a stick in his hand. So Batherson just took a penalty because they turned it over. Brutal penalty from Drake Batherson. Turns the puck over and hooks. All right, Flyers to the power play. Green doesn't like it, but that's an easy call to make, man. Just lazy. Especially right after a turnover. Sometimes I can't tell if Green doesn't like it because of the call or because of what his player did. But to me, that was a hook. Easy hook. Let's see this. So he turns it over. Maybe not. All right, you know what? That's a soft call. Still, though, doing like reaching into the hands like that, like just don't do that. Now the Flyers power play gets a look here. 40 seconds left in the first. First chance for the PK. Carolina scored 1 on the power play last game. I don't know how many attempts, but 72.9%, 30th in the NHL on the PK, but luckily the Flyers are 28th on the power play. So this is movable force meets stoppable object. They don't do the drop pass in Philly. Okay. Drysdale just wired it in off the glass. And Pinto gets it out. Nice. 15 seconds left in the period. 10 to go. And they don't get in. Nice stick by Amadio, and that'll do it. All right. Folks, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to talk about in the intermission. That was as boring of a period as I can remember for this team playing. But it's 0-0. They're not losing. So we'll take that. But not much going on in that period. There's Shepard on the bench. The boys are giving him a good time that he's here. Obviously, he wasn't in warm-up. But he made it to Philly. Got flown in or whatever. Yeah, holding the Flyers to 2 shots, and they were all on that that one little flurry there. I mean, you'll take that, I guess. But really slow period. Really slow period. Even just offensively, like they didn't generate a ton, and I don't know where the Flyers rank. Let me pull up some money puck. Let's see where they are for expected goals. Because I did think that the Flyers did a good job of making it hard for the Sens to get chances in the O-zone, like to get good sticks on it and whatever it may be. But I'm curious to see where they rank. Because if they are high, then I kind of understand it. So let's go expected goals against. Where are you? There we go. Where did the Flyers are right up there, man. They are. Okay. All right. That's crazy. I mean, they're also victims of really bad goaltending then, because they defend pretty well. Interesting. They are 4th, according to Money Puck. So, and just for people's reference, I'm not going to pull it out because I don't know how to do screen share properly. The Sens are 1st in expected goals against. And then it's the Lightning, the Los Angeles Kings, and then the Philadelphia Flyers. And then it goes Vegas, Colorado, Florida, Carolina, Dallas, Utah. Like, pretty good teams. So they are also victims of bad goaltending. Clearly. And let's just check to make sure. And the only reason I'm doing this, I know no one can see it. I don't know what else to talk about in that game. So Apologize for that. Yeah, Ersson is worse than Ullmark and Levy for goals saved above expected. So that tracks. Okay. I was just curious about that. Interesting. All right. So they're decent at defending at 5-on-5. That's known now. But still would like the Sens to have a little bit more urgency on offense. What do we think in the chat here, folks? Just let me know all your thoughts. I'm trying to think of a question because that's not much of a question to ask everyone. Okay, here's one. I'm going to talk to Callum about this. What do you want Steve Staios to do at the trade deadline? The trade deadline, I believe, is March 5th or 6th, and the Sens have about 5 more games after this one before that with the break. So it'll be pretty quick. They get back and they play on the 23rd, and then it's trade deadline's like the next week. So my question for the stream is, what do you want the team to do at the trade deadline? And while you're thinking about it and while you're typing it, we'll put up some ideas. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to Locked On Senators, we do live streams during these games right here on YouTube. Live show right on YouTube called the Postcast after every single Sens game, which is then later posted the audio, but it's live on YouTube. So if you want to get up-to-date notifications, all that, you subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. It will go a long way to supporting us, and also just leave a thumbs up. Takes 2 seconds. I do that. Lets YouTube know what you want to see all the time. Every time I'm watching YouTube videos, I leave a little thumbs up if I like it. So please go ahead and do that, folks. All right, let's see what people are saying about the deadline plans. Everyone's saying right shot D, right shot D, right shot D, goalie or middle six winger. We got people saying they should sell. LZ putting in here, ask her expiring vet, see what they want to do and pick a direction. I'm bringing this up for a reason, and I've got my own thoughts on it here. So I'm just kind of watching things kind of roll in here. A lot of Batherson discussion. Yeah. Okay. So here's my deadline plan. What I want the Ottawa Senators to do at the deadline. Nothing. And would I like it if they did something? Like, would I dislike it if they did something? No. I'm just looking at where they are in the standings, where the team is as a roster. You know, they have no key guys up for UFA. It's Giroux, Perron, Eller, Nick Cousins, Nick Jensen, and that's the end of the list. And now I guess Reimer. Obviously, I don't want Giroux to walk for nothing. I don't think Giroux is going to go play anywhere else. I think he'll just keep one role, like re-upping here 1 year with the Sens as long as he wants until he's done for his career. That seems to be the vibe. Now, don't get me wrong. If he gave an indication he doesn't want to stay, whatever it is, and then you got to have a discussion, absolutely. But that's the only UFA of consequence. And the reason I'm bringing that up is with where they are in the standings, a run to the playoffs is not out of the question. It's less likely than missing the playoffs at this point. But selling off and kind of getting youth into the lineup, A, doesn't make sense when you don't have a pick, and B, won't sell in Ottawa. You can't trade David Perron for a 4th or 5th round pick or whatever his value is, and then kind of push that you're trying to make the playoffs still, you know? It's a hard sell. So if you're not going to add, I don't think selling is an option. And I'm just asking because you look at other teams around them, they're starting to kind of talk about this. You look at New Jersey. I know that they brought in Bukestad, but they made some moves already to kind of rejig their roster, and they're probably not going to make the playoffs. The Leafs in that market, they're, you know, I know they just won 3 in a row, but they've been talking about selling. And I'm just bringing it up because one of my friends is a Leafs fan. We were both talking, and he said I was kind of crazy for still believing in playoffs and stuff with where both teams are at. They're tied in the standings. And I saying to him, we don't really have another option here. In Ottawa, there's no other option to not try and, make the playoffs, because I think realistically, I'd rather see this team miss by 1 point or miss by a couple points and try right until game 82 than recoup a couple mid-round picks for some of their older vets. Like, if they were to go with the way Nick Cousins has played this season, if they traded Nick Cousins at the deadline for like a 3rd-round pick or something like that, I'd be livid. I'd be livid if I was a Sens fan, and I am a Sens fan. I'd be livid if I was a player, I meant to say, right? Like, I think just given how this season's gone, and like it has not gone well all according to plan. Like, you'd rather them be in a playoff spot at this point, yada, yada, yada. But it hasn't worked out that way. So with where they are and wanting to push for the playoffs, I think just doing nothing makes the most sense. And then that also goes in turn, I don't want them to buy. I don't want them to go get a Mackenzie Weegar, which will cost you current assets. Yeah, he would fit well with this team right now, but we're watching this team play elite hockey against very good competition right now. Yes, Jensen's a bit of a hole, but do you really want to plug in place a 32-year-old, another guy on the wrong side of 30 with term on his contract to try and make that part of your game better, even though it's already pretty good? I wouldn't do that. If anything, I'd want to add a scorer of some kind if they're available. Like, I'm pulling names out of a hat here, but a Zetterlund type deal where you think a guy can come in and help your scoring up front, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do anything long-term on the back end right now. I'd look at that in the offseason. I'd be a little bit questionable about Weegar because of his age and the term on his contract. I'd much rather a bit of a stopgap kind of 1-year thing from a guy than I would Weegar right now. Mainly also because you got Yakimchuk and Hensler, who might take time. I've been advocating I'd like to see Yakimchuk before making a move because I want to see what they have on their hands with him. And I personally think that they should call him up after the deadline and let him run with it, see what they've got. And if he can come in and fit nicely with Shabbat in offensive situations, you've solved your top 4 right defenseman issue right there internally with your 7th overall pick. So I'm a little hesitant for this team with where they are, potentially 8 points out, hopefully 6 points out of the playoffs at the Olympic break, going out and dishing out assets to kind of plug in place. But at the same time, it'd be difficult to see them do nothing and just kind of run with it. But I think that's pretty likely just based on the vibe and the way trades are happening. It's not necessarily a buyer's market, That's kind of where I'm at. I know that there's discussion right now in the chat about bigger trades for core pieces, and I get that. I think that's definitely a discussion in the offseason, especially if this team misses the playoffs this season. I just think for this stretch run, I think leaving it as is not the worst idea because this is a good team on most nights. However, relying on Ullmark is what they have to do for their goaltending, and they haven't been able to this point, especially in the second half of the season. So maybe that's part of the concern as well. But like, do they go out and get a goalie for something? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's my whole long-winded way to talk about what I want them to do at the deadline. I'm kind of looking at teams around them, and especially the Leafs. Like, I do my fair share of, consuming Leafs content when they're losing, like any other Sens fan. And it's been like almost relief of where they are in the standing so that they'll sell and not buy at the deadline. And that's also a team with no first-round pick, just like the Sens, unless it's in top 5, but they're not going to be bad enough to be top 5. So they're not getting that pick. And they're also talking about selling and recouping some assets. And I know it's different situations. Are you comfortable with Steve Stais making a significant move when they're 6 points out of the playoffs? He obviously won't trade away an asset anymore that will improve after they miss the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no pick to trade right now that'll get better if they miss the playoffs. There are second round picks in San Jose for the Zetterlund deal. Their first round pick has been forfeited up to this point. So yeah, I'm not too sure what kind of move is available for them at the deadline. But then again, Cousins came out of nowhere last season and so did Zetterlund. Absolutely out of nowhere on deadline day. So maybe he's got something. Maybe he's got a 2-for-1, middle six winger, top line winger with a middle of the lineup defenseman on the right side. I don't know, man. I'd be curious where that's coming from, but yeah, it's not an easy situation for the Sens, and I would really be not surprised if they just don't do anything at the deadline, and that might be okay. I think that's better than going and buying and trying to go all in this season, A lot of discussion about Batherson in the chat. That's kind of who I'm talking about. And look, I get it. I totally get it. And I think I'm on that train with people as well. If he's going to be the first guy of this core group of players up for unrestricted free agency, it's going to be fascinating for Drake Batherson. Got 1 year left on his bargain of a contract next season. His production has far outvalued that deal. So without knowing where he's at for an extension, I think it's the first time with a guy part of the core for the Sens where you ask, do you want to extend him? And obviously the question then becomes, if you don't, then what do you do, right? He's your top line right winger. And I know he can be frustrating some nights, but his production as a top line player, you got to go find another top line player. And I know the boys were mentioning it either on the postcast or the show this week, but they said it's hard to envision a scenario where you win a Drake Batherson trade, and I completely agree. But you got to start thinking about it like that. Do you want to go into next season with him as 1 year UFA? Do you try and extend? Do you try and make a move before that? I don't know. That's a guy who's a huge part of this team and has been a part of this team for years. It's at this point, I think it'd be worse than trading a Josh Norris for that locker room, just because he's been there longer now through good times after being through bad times. So I know he's frustrating to watch for a lot of players, but man, you look at that cost per point, that's not going anywhere. You're not finding that in many other places, but I will also flip that with what's his extension look like? Because then if you look at his extension, is his extension going to be value for what he's going to give you now? What's a fair Drake Batherson extension this summer if the Sens want to go down that path? To me, it's got to be under Timmy's number 100%, under 8.3. Internally, you got to keep everyone under that if you can until Timmy's up again. Or I guess until Brady's up in a few seasons, but that's a whole other discussion. So I don't know, man. It'll be a fascinating offseason. Either way, I think it's going to be fascinating. But if they miss the playoffs, we'll see. There's a chance they miss the playoffs with 98 points, which is an improvement on last season. They had 97 last season. There's a very good chance they miss the playoffs with 98, 99, 100 points. It's just the way the East is going this year. So if you sit there and say in the organization, playoffs are the expectation, then it's a failure. But if you look and say, look, we improved after last season, and in many ways, other than goaltending, this team is much better in most facets than they were last season. Goal scoring has improved. The 5-on-5 goal scoring in particular has been very, very good compared to last year. The power plays looked a lot better. The PKs looked worse, so that's something, but that also can be traced to goaltending. The top guys, Tim Stützle's taken his game to a new level. Jake Sanderson's taken his game to a new level. Brady's playing through an injury or came back from an injury. His production's still there. So as a franchise, as a team who challenged your guys to grow internally last offseason, that was the message from Staios, right? We got a lot of room to grow internally. They did it. They've done it through 56, 57 games here. So if you're an organization, how do you sit there and kind of evaluate this season? I'm both fascinated and terrified to see what happens because, yeah, a lot of it can boil down to goaltending. And at the heart of that is Linus Ullmark, who has not had a good season from start to top or from start to finish, right? When he was playing, he was not playing up to his standard. He goes on personal leave, which ended up becoming a very public and well-documented reason, which I think he got a lot of support for, and mainly support from Sens fans, even if there was some frustration. But when you talk about a team with a glaring goaltending issue, and then you look at your star goalie as your second highest paid player, right? That's something to talk about this offseason. So I don't know, man. I got completely off the rails there because there was nothing to talk about in that period. But we are back. Second period is about to start, thankfully. I hope that we don't have to go in that kind of big picture talk with Callum when he joins me in the second intermission. But we'll see. We'll see, folks. I just want to get that off. I was reading through the chat there. I see a lot of people talking about that. And I think you have to. You have to. And those conversations are happening daily, if not every other day within this front office, because they have to be thinking about what happens if we miss here. And yeah, through fault of their own or through fault of other teams. I think before the Sens, I think they're at 61 points right now. I don't know if it was the same amount of games played, but when they had 61 points last season, they were third in the division. And it was probably around the same amount of games played. And this year they're eighth in the Atlantic. Entering tonight, they're eighth in the Atlantic division. So crazy. It's crazy. I'm just very curious how they're going to chalk this one up. And I'm also curious, like, if Staios comes out and it's just bluntly honest, he's like, look, our division was crazy this season. We thought we had good results or good process, blah, 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 blah. I'm very curious to see the reception to that because I don't know if Sens fans are willing to hear that right now if they miss playoffs this season. But a lot of runway left. They can be 6 points out going into the break if they win tonight. But we'll start the second period with about a minute of power play time for Philly. I'm at 19:37 right now, and I'm going to hide the chat so I don't look at anything and spoil it for myself. And Sanderson gets it down the ice. 45 seconds now. Need a sip of water there. Like monologuing. Tippett's got it behind the net. Shots are 8-2 after one period for the Sens. 8-2. The 2 might be the fewest they've allowed in a period in quite some time, and that's saying something with this Jacques Martin type of team. The defense has not been an issue tonight. We'll put it that way so far. Anyway, here's Konechny. Up top to Sanheim. Zegras has it. Power play's just coming to an end now, and here comes Timmy, and he's going to have Batherson coming out of the box with him. Timmy's going to the net. Batherson gets it blocked in front by Sanheim. That's Team Canada, Travis Sanheim, by the way. Be cheering for him after tonight. Stretch pass up. Zegras overskated the puck. Timmy lost it then. Sloppy play right now for both teams. And Cleven's going to look to settle it down. And he just gets the puck out. This might just be a 1-0 game in overtime, the way this is tracking right now. 2 minutes in and not even a single shot attempt at the net. See, like people got on me and in a joking way, I know. And like the boys, especially when I started doing these watch parties. Oh, here comes Hathaway. It's going to be a 1-0 game and a Hathaway goal. That's what it's going to be after I called out his stats. Oh, there's a nice little shoulder save, I think, by Reimer. They went high on him. Timmy's been out there a while. Long shift for Stutzla. Flyers in the zone here. Up top to Drysdale. Shoots. It's loose. Good stick by Clevin. Reimer was down and out. Minute and a half for Timmy and Zub out there right now. Batherson still hasn't gone to the bench. There they go. They get a change now. But in come the Flyers. Here's a shot. Goes wide. It's blocked. And Clevin gets it up to Tkachuk. He's streaking in. He shoots. It's stopped. Got Tkachuk and Eller out there together. Are they just giving Lars Eller a lot of ice time? Olympian Lars Eller? Brady's got it. Gets bodied. Eller, Zetterlund, and Tkachuk. Okay. Oh, nice move by Michkov. Here he's got some space to the backhand. Reimer stopped that, I think. Good pressure by the Flyers here. Since that power play, they really rode the momentum. Wow. Okay. Well, what I was saying is when I started doing the live watch party, it was during a losing streak. So they had just lost to Detroit that game in Ottawa, where Levy was just brutal in the first period. And I did it for that Utah game, the first one, and then they lost that. Then they lost 8-2 to Colorado the next night. And then I did another one. They lost to Florida at home on Saturday. So they went 0-3 with the watch party. And I like to keep doing it because the games were entertaining. They were easy to kind of talk about, If those games were all like this so far, where there's really not much going on for either team, it would have been tough to keep going, to be honest. Like, it's tough to find discussion points, when there's not a ton going on in the game. Hence why I pulled up Garnet Hathaway's game log early in this game. So I need the Sens to get going here on offense. Last game before the break. Got to leave it all out there. Go get 2 big points. Here's Holiday in the O-zone. Jensen gets it right back deep. Shabbat over to Kachuk, back to Shabbat, regrouping, up to Shabbat again. And he moves into the zone. Brady steals it behind the net. Over to Dylan Cousins. Try to throw it out front, and that's deflected away. Brady's looked good tonight. Oh, he just gave it away. That puck definitely came out. They're calling it not offside, but that was definitely out of the zone. Konechny's got it now. Just a ton of regrouping going on. Michael Amadio with a nice steal. Amadio coming in to Nick Cousins? Did he score? No, he stopped that? Are you kidding me? Oh, what a play by Amadio. I think Nick Cousins tried to get cute with that. Just bury it, man. He tried to tuck it in. Had all day. Just bury it. I think he tried to get cute. Here's the replay. Makes a great move. Oh, just get it over the pad. Come on. It's a great save, but he thought he had him stretching and he tried to slide it by the pad. Just bury that. Amadio drew a hook. Bit of a weak call, but that's probably a makeup for the Batherson one. All right, so the Sens power play gets to go to work. But, that's a great chance by Cousins. Best one of the night for sure, and he doesn't bury it. Let's get it over the pad. Brady on the faceoff. They win it. Sanderson over to Timmy. To Brady in the slot. And they lose it. I think this is Dvorak for the Flyers. The Flyers have possession in the Sens zone right now. And they lose it. Okay. Timmy taking it up. They dump it in. Top unit came through on Tuesday in Carolina. 2 goals by Timmy and Sanderson, but not much doing here right now. And the Flyers have 2 coming in on Timmy and Sanderson now. Ristolainen's got it. Just throws it in the corner. And Halliday's on it. And he's just going to take it as the Sens change their top unit who got nothing going. Halliday gets it in. But it's intercepted and goes down the ice. Snooze fest of a power play so far for the Sens. No zone time. Here comes Pinto across the line. Keeps it alive to Zetterlund. Halliday's got space. Shabbat. Right into Voladar. That was a good look. And a good setup. We'll look up the Flyers PK. I feel like that's got to be a good one. If they're that good defensively. It is... I'm scrolling. I think I missed it. It's 18th. Okay, so not crazy. That goaltending probably doesn't help it. But Vladar's look good tonight, 12 for 12 already. Giroux wins it. Second unit gets some zone time here again. Shabbat to Giroux. Just allergic to shooting the puck. He always tries to force that pass to the middle. Spence keeps it alive. Halliday. Turnover. Disappointing power play. Here comes Giroux. To Shabbat. Giroux. Got 10 seconds left on the power play. Nice pass over to Spence. He couldn't handle it, though. All right, that'll do it. I think just 2 shots, 1 shot maybe for the Sens on that power play. Not great, as mentioned. And back to work goes Nick Cousins. Got to get momentum from it, though. Still only 4 shots for the Flyers, but they had a good start to the period. Nice outlet by Amadio. Amadio's really starting to play well again, which is great. Oh, nice. A little turnover by Zub. He forced one. Zub's got it now. Oh. He's on Michkov, too. Again. Gets him again. Nick Cousins up top. Throws it down low for Greg, and it's just out of his reach. Nick Cousins floats one in, and Vladar's got it. All right. It's a commercial we go. What did we think of that power play? First comment I saw. Get Clevin on there. Only team that loses momentum on the PP. Yep. Look, man, I know that they have good stats and they'll have nights like they did in Carolina where they come through, but I think it's a phony top 10 power play. They're just way too streaky, and they don't try anything different, and they don't switch up the personnel on that top unit ever. Like they get 2 goals against New Jersey, then nothing, and then 2 goals against Carolina, and then they look like this again tonight. It's way too inconsistent for me. And most top 10 power plays are scoring every night. They're not scoring 2 or 3 a night, maybe, but they're scoring at least 1 a night. And like you can count on the power play to get at least 1, you know? And I can't for the Sens. Like a power play goal is still surprising, and they are, according to NHL.com, coming into tonight. The Sens are 8th in the NHL on the power play. And like, look at the teams around them. Like it goes Edmonton, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Boston, Minnesota, Vegas, Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit. Like that's the list of the best power play percentages in the league. I don't think it's that good of a power play most nights, which is frustrating. And they don't try anything different. They don't try any new guys or mix it up, get Giroux on the top unit, whatever it may be. It's tough. It's tough. I will say the PK looked good. PK looked good. But yeah, both calls have been pretty soft. Zetterlund got taken off PP2. They put Spence on there. So power play 2 gets moment or personnel changes all the time, but just maybe a result of people coming in out of the lineup and injuries. That top unit hasn't changed all season. All season they've kept that together. They haven't like once tried. Maybe like if one guy was banged up or something, they tried it. Like when Kachuk was out, obviously they had different guys, but then Brady just loses it there on the half wall. I will also say the longer this game goes at 0-0, the more nervous I get because Reimer has not seen a lot of action. So I think the longer this stays tied 0-0, the more it favors Philly. Based on how we see it. Here's Dvorak, shoots. Nice stop by Reimer. All right. I just feel less confident the longer this stays tied at 0. We've seen this movie plenty of times this season. It does appear that the lines are in a bit of a blender right now at 5-on-5. Maybe not. You got Pinto, Cousins, and Amadio out there right now. Shots are 15-5 about halfway through this game. Amadio's got nice speed. He's so much more noticeable when his legs are going because he can get in there on the battles faster, and that's where he's at his best. Look at this behind the net. Just like that. Causing chaos. Pinto gets on it. And they get possession. Jensen with tons of space. Oh, doesn't get to the net. See if that's Yakimchuk. Maybe a different story. Nick Cousins just got drilled. No call. Pinto behind the net. Got the puck. A lot of time. Shoots. It's loose. They score. Nick Cousins, man. There we go. This line. And of course, it's Brian Cousins, of course. After missing that first one. That's good work. Great goal. Shane Pinto sets that up. Nice patience. That's a big one. Send score first. There we go. Get rewarded for all their puck possession and defense. That's big. But it starts with Michael Amadio, man. Getting his feet moving on the forecheck. And look at Pinto. Look at the patience. And just throws it on net knowing there's a rebound, and Nick Cousins goes to the net. Stick on the ice. It's great. Good net presence. Great goal. Great goal. Not much to say about it. 1-0 Sens. Oh, a bit sloppy here in the Sens zone. Hathaway had a chance. It was right on his stick. Spence kind of kicked it to him. I'm convinced he's going to score tonight. I'm convinced, or at least an assist. I spent way too much time talking about Hathaway's lack of offense for him not to score tonight. Reimer has no stick. Oh, nice play there. Here's Timmy. He's got Batherson going to the net. Doesn't get it through. I'll tell you what, the Flyers' blue line's impressing me a little bit. I know I pulled up their 5-on-5 defense, but they're doing a good job of blocking lanes and getting in the way of any rush chances the Sens get. Giroux just got buried. No call. All right, that's a big goal. Big goal. Like I said, the longer that game was 0-0, the more nervous I was. So that's a huge first goal for the Sens. They're 18-5-3, I think, when they score first. Favorable. Timmy's had a couple long shifts here. And the Sens ice it, so it's going to continue for him. Oh, never mind. No icing. I usually judge it, especially with no sound. I judge it on how the defenseman skates back, and it looked like the Flyers guy let up a little bit, so I thought that was icing. My bad. Nice play by Chabot in the neutral zone. Little baseball catch. Gets it deep. All right, now the Flyers ice it. There we go. Yeah, that's a great goal. Great work by that line. That line's great. Love that line. It is funny that whatever winger goes with Pinto and Amadio just ends up looking good. Like, you think Ridley Gregg last season, Claude Giroux to start this season, and then now Nick Cousins. Like, that's a pairing that they've found, and it's their defensive unit, but when they get going offensively, it's a huge, huge, huge difference. Vladar is mad about something. Maybe mad at his team. That was big for Nick Cousins. Like I said, especially after missing that first one. That first one was tried to get a bit too cute. Brian Cousins, that is, obviously. What are we saying in the chat here? What do we think of that goal from Brian? Or Porcas, or I think they call him Chinny or something. I don't know. A lot of Nick Cousins love. Yeah, Vladar looked like he was having a temper tantrum. I know. I don't know what was wrong with him. Just mad about getting scored on by Nick Cousins. That's all that is. Greasy goal, but need a couple more here. Can't sit on this one. This would be a mistake to sit on a goal like that. What time or what's Twitter all saying? Not much. Not much. Dean said that he was yelling at a teammate. Interesting. Showing a little Nick Cousins highlight pack. I like that. See, but that's what my off-season discussion there in the first intermission. Like, I mean, if you were selling, and I don't want them to at all. If they were, Nick Cousins is a perfect guy to sell if they were going to. He's a pending UFA, having a bit of a resurgent season. You could probably get your best return for Nick Cousins, I think, for a contender. But that's I like that it's not even part of the discussion, but that's just kind of my question is like, what will they do then? And I think that there was a report that Steos was going to see what the next 7 to 10 games before the break looked like for his team. They win tonight. They're, I think, 8-2-2 in their last 12 games. You know, like, is that a message to buy? I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll talk to Callum about that because I'd like to get another person's opinion, and I know him and I have talked about it a little bit. We'll talk in the second intermission about that. Callum Fraser with the Ottawa Citizen and the Ottawa Sun. But still lots of hockey to go here in this one, especially in the second period. Bit of a turnover there. Battle for it at the Sens line, and out comes Nick Cousins with it, and the Sens have numbers here. Amadio floats it over to Jensen, who was joining the rush, but it bounced over his stick. And the Flyers get it out. 18-5 are the shots here with about 6 minutes left in the second. Another strong defensive performance so far for the Sens. What is looking to pace to be one of their better ones of the season, quite honestly. Seems like a good formula. Hold your opponent to 5 shots late in the second. I like that. Here's Michkov coming over the line. Nice stick handling. But Sanderson forces him into the corner. Hits him. Oh, the Flyers still got a good chance out of it. Nice stop by Reimer, I think. Good backtrack by Stutzla. I guess Reimer didn't save it. They're not counting it as a shot. Very stingy with what counts as a shot these days. Here's Brady in the corner with Dylan Cousins. Up high to Spence. He fired that wide. Clevin back down to Brady. Lost a handle on it. Now Dylan Cousins has some space. Back to Brady. Stopped by Vladar. Oh, it's loose. That go out? Ah, good chance there for Kachuk. Good little down low play with Dylan Cousins. And to commercial we go. Let's look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. How about that? What do we got going on the out-of-town scoreboard right now? The Penguins are beating the Sabres 3-1. Okay. In the middle of the second. So keep an eye on that. That's a result that we want to stand, but I'm not getting too excited because they don't stand like that typically. The Lightning are up 2-0 on the Panthers early in the first. Okay. Also important, but to be honest, like I'm paying less attention now to the teams that are around them than I am to the teams they're chasing, because none of it matters if the teams they're chasing keep winning. So two things. First and foremost, Sens need to win. And second, the teams they're chasing need to lose. That's all I care about. If Florida gets hot with the Sens, who cares? We'll find out, game 82, where both teams stand. They play each other, I think, twice more, maybe once more this season. So those will be big games. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I'm paying more attention to the teams they're chasing. Buffalo happens to be one of those teams. They're losing right now, which is good, by 2 goals. So like I said, we'll just keep tabs on that. See, I'm friction. I'm nervous to say that because the Panthers are not irrelevant. They're never irrelevant. And it would be a miracle, but they're so good, man. They're so good that if they just get hot, like as an 8 seed, that team is a cup favorite. They were on the road for every series they had last season and they won the cup. Unbelievable. But you're right. Yeah. Like the clock's running out for them too. But again, they're tied with the Sens. And if you still believe for the Sens, got to still believe for the Panthers. That's how I look at it. Two more against Florida. They play Buffalo one more time. Yeah, not playing Boston is tough, which is why Buffalo, I know Sabres fans, I'd love for them to make the playoffs, but not at the Sens' expense. So if they get close, obviously going to have to pay a lot of attention to that one game for the Sens. All right, back out of here. Zub shoots from the point. That's blocked. And the Flyers send it up to Tippett, try to dance around Sanderson. Pinto's got it. Oh, he takes a hard hit. Pinto's gotten hit hard a couple times tonight. I wonder, like, obviously we don't know what everyone's dealing with, but the amount of hockey they're playing, these guys can't feel 100% every night. So, and they obviously play this amount of hockey all the time. It's just how condensed it is, right? The lack of rest between games this season. I'm curious who the break will benefit the most on this team. And not counting the guys going to the Olympics. So take the top 3 players out of it, and which will still be a bit of a break for them. Less hockey, but they're still playing high-level hockey over in Italy. Ristolainen, nice block by Greg. Konechny, oh, that was close. He just missed high. That was right in the slot, too. Flyers are starting to buzz here a little bit. Konechny has all day, and it's blocked by Cousins. I think that knocked out his blade. Cousins has no blade. Oh, no. Reimer, squeaker, Cousins has no blade. Basically a 5-on-4 right now for Philly. No skate blade for Dylan Cousins. He's basically just useless out there. He's got to get to the bench. Stopped. Kachuk doesn't get it out, man. Oh, this is a disaster. Cousins got to get off the ice. He's useless out there. I guess he can't move. There we go. Now they ice it. Yeah, that's a good icing. That's wild. I've seen that happen, like where they lose the skate blade, but I don't think I've ever seen it happen where it like actually deters a team and like looks like it's an injured player, kind of, He makes a nice block, Dylan Cousins, with his skate, but it knocks the blade out. Crazy. Wow, yeah. That could have been dangerous. I mean, they survived, but that was sloppy for a little bit there. Helpless feeling for Dylan Cousins. You can't do a thing. You can't even push off. Like, you can't. I think he was in a good spot though, Like he made sure he was in position, so he's in the way mostly. And Brady iced it. So they let Cousins get off, which is good. Oh, but the Sens are still tired, and the Flyers win the draw. It's loose in the crease. Doesn't get out, but Pinto's got it now. He's got some room. Tried to spring Ridley Gregg. All right, they get it down, get a change. Philly's starting to buzz now. They're pushing. Wow. All right, they survive. All it takes is a popped out skate blade for some pressure. Cousins for Team Canada figure skating. That's good. Yeah, he looked like Bambi. That was a tough look. Can't prepare for that. For those who don't know what that's like if when you skate, obviously you've got the blades and that's what helps you move and balance and stuff. And then the minute that's gone, it's just a piece of plastic there. So it just slips. The minute you put your foot down, there's no traction. You can't even stand on it. It just slips on the ice completely. So that you could see him there trying to kind of instinctively push when he was getting up and he was just falling all over the place. Not ideal. And the Sens just iced it again. So here's some more pressure from Philly. Yeah, if it's an equipment failure, I think because they treat it like an injury. They're allowed to get out there or to get off the ice. So the guy, they caught a break there for sure. Another D zone draw. Philly wins it. Sanheim over the net. It's loose. Nothing. Zetterlund gets it out, but he was just smothered there by Ristolainen. Sanderson stretch up to Timmy. Wow, that was nice. Timmy, just shoot it, man. Amadio stopped. I think Stutzla forgets he's the best player on the team sometimes. You're the Flyers back the other way. Zegras, nice little deflection, goes wide. That was still a good look that Amadio got, but I want Tim Stutzla shooting the puck in the slot and not Michael Amadio. Flyers are ripping pucks at will right now, and they're going high on Reimer. They've seen the tape. They have film coaches too. Not good. But that play from Stutzla, I want him shooting that puck. There's a clear lane to the net. It's you against the goalie. You're the best player on this team. Shoot it instead of deferring over to Amadio. It just gives the goalie way too much time. It's just the next step for that guy. I know Timmy's doing a better job shooting it in general. I think he has more goals than he had last season already. But especially now, he's hot, man. He's a goal in 4 straight games. Just get it on net. Just shoot it. Because that's a good look for Amadio. But if Timmy's shooting that, I'm feeling way more confident that it's got a chance to go in. Anyway. I just think that was a perfect, that little look off for him was because other times I can see why he's passing. There's sticks and skates in the way. So you don't want to force shots. But on a rush like that, you're basically the third man high. You're in the slot. Let it fly. Let it fly. That was a perfect example to me of where Timmy just has to be selfish and shoot the puck. That's how these guys are game breakers. It's how these elite players are game breakers. They make other teams pay for letting them have too much space. And Timmy, for the most part, does. That was a great time for him to put a dagger into give a 2-goal lead. Shabbat's moving nice. There we go. Konechny in the corner. Up high. Ristolainen sends a weak one to the net. All right, minute left in the second. The Flyers have pushed after the Sens goal. Zegras cues one wide. And Nick Cousins gets it down the ice. That'll be icing again. I think that's the 3rd or 4th icing for the Sens here. Pinto's going in for the draw. Shabbat gets it up, but not out. Nick Cousins to Amadio. Not out. Here's Michkov in the corner. Wheeling around the zone. He's still going. Michkov all the way around the zone, and he gives it away to Nick Cousins, who gets it all the way down. Boy, that's a frustrating play there if you're a Flyers fan from Michkov. Just skated around and did nothing with it. It's tough. He's a good example, I feel like. I think Rick Tocchet's a good coach, but maybe not the best to develop. Okay, here we go. 5 seconds. Chance. Brady's got to shoot. Good stop. Amadio. Oh, no. It was Dylan Cousins. 2 good looks there. Vladar's tired, or that hurt him. I don't know. He kind of bent over there. All right, second intermission. We will be joined by Callum Fraser here momentarily. But before that, I was just talking about Michkov there. Like, obviously, I think he's 19, 20 years old. He's so young still, but coaching matters so much. Like, we give DJ Smith so much flack here for results, which is fair because the teams were terrible under him. But he did a great job of building up confidence of guys like Brady and Timmy and Batherson and Norris and turning them into NHL players that are valuable. And Timmy is the best best example, right? He's the most important pick that they had that played for DJ Smith. And I think the way he was handled for the most part was excellent. So yeah. Okay, Sens lead 1-0. Grind goal for that third line. That's what you like to see. Shane Pinto made a really nice patient play offensively. Need that from him, more offense. And Nick Cousins, man. What more can you say about Nick Cousins this season, the way he's played? Much better than last year, playing anywhere, but he's really found a home with Amadio and Pinto. I think that line's been awesome. And we are now joined by another guy I can talk to about Michael Amadio's play. Is Callum Fraser.
What's going on, buddy?
Not too much. Third time in 4 days here that we're chatting. So we're going to go big picture for most of our talks here because last game before the Olympic break, things are coming to a head. But first, because they scored the 1 goal in this game, just get some thoughts on that line with Nick Cousins, Shane Pinto, and Michael Amadio. I was talking about Amadio on that shift, moving his legs. He looks a lot better lately. Just how valuable is that line when they chip in offensively with what they do already at the other end of the ring?
It's crazy what that 1 goal that he scored a few games ago has done for his offensive game. Like, when he wasn't scoring, I think he had 1 goal in 37 games. And it felt like every night in my grades on the Citizen, I was mentioning that streak because I was like, listen, the defensive game has not gone away. Okay, give him that. But at some point, your third line needs to score. What's up, Steve? LZ, what's going on? Dude, I'm so off topic. I love LZ.
Sorry, man. Sorry, I had to throw that up. We got the band back together. Right?
A little bit of context. Stephen Ellsworth is the best board operator that CFRA's ever had, and a dear former colleague who texts me every night about the Sens. And I see them, Steve. Sometimes I don't have enough time to respond, but I see them. Anyway, so Michael Amadio. And you know, half of his game is always going to be good. Like, the guy's never going to have a bad game defensively. But at some point, if you play in the top 9, you need to score goals. You don't need to score 7 or 8 every 10 games, but 1 or 2 need to go in. And I think it really, really started to mess with him mentally in the latter stages of that stretch. And man, once he scored a few games ago, it's like his legs got 10 times faster. He was hounding pucks a lot more. Like, he's always been pretty good on the forecheck, like one of the better forecheckers, but it seemed like he was even more energetic. And his playmaking, he's already made a couple of really good plays tonight, had a couple of really great opportunities to score as well, taking feeds from one from Pinto and I think one from a defenseman, I forget who. But yeah, I mean, he's playing so well right now. And let's touch on the rest of that line too. Shane Pinto just misses a wrist shot in the first few minutes of the game, and then the next shift hits a post. And then later, gets robbed in the second period. It's like he's the most snake. Like Michael Amadio, I don't believe was snake bitten. I think he just wasn't playing well offensively. Shane Pinto is the most snake bitten player I've seen in a long, long time. He's playing, I think, really, really good hockey, especially offensively too. But you know what? It's a testament to the fact that he's one of those players that will figure out exactly how to get it done in different ways when something's not working. And he gets the puck behind the net, turns around, sneaks out one side, and then puts it to a dangerous area, and a workhorse like Nick Cousins gets it done. And to finish up on this, because I know this is quite long-winded, but like I'll finish up on Nick Cousins here. That he's one of the worst finishers on the team. That's no question. Like, the guy should have 20 goals this year. That's how well he is playing. And it's tough. Like, they probably win the last game if he can finish a couple of chances, right? Like, it was on a few different guys. Reimer did not play very well, but also if Nick Cousins can finish, then they probably win that game. Tonight, kind of similar story up until his goal, right? Like, can't raise the puck on Vladar. Had a couple of good chances also in the first period, but that play is just so evident of, like, it's indicative of how he's playing right now and how it's working out for him, because he gets pinned up against the wall, is able to pry the puck out and get it to Pinto, takes a slight bit of a lap around the top of the perimeter, and then just drives the net, like, fearlessly, like he always does. And he gets rewarded and pots that one. So, yeah, that line's been unreal for a while now, and tonight it's good to see him get some offense.
Yeah, Pinto, I think, deserves a ton of credit on that goal. That's a smart shot. That's a shot for a rebound. You could see they showed a good angle in the replay. He's going around the net, takes a look at what the crowd is doing in front, and just kind of throws it right at Vladar's blocker. It goes right on Nick Cousins' stick. I think that line's been great. It's awesome that they found something with all the forwards, basically, with Perron being out. So I do want to go big picture, though, Callum, just because we've talked a lot about their process, and they've been playing really good hockey. The Flyers are actually a good defensive team. I looked it up. They're pretty up there for their metrics, and we know what that's like when you don't have the results necessarily with those kind of metrics. But in that discussion, with the deadline coming up, some trades happened before the roster freeze yesterday in the NHL. I think a lot of people are hammering for a couple of things for the Sens. Go get another goalie, go get a top 4 defenseman, find a scorer. I had a bit of a rant/discussion with myself in the chat in the first intermission that I don't think that they should do anything at the deadline with where they are in the standings. Like, you can look at this team and say, that's one fix. You got to upgrade on Jensen, then you're a better team. But with where they are in the standings, I don't know if I'm comfortable going out and getting a guy like a Mackenzie Weegar, let's say, who's got term at 32 years old, if you don't make the playoffs this season. So I just want to know what you think about the rest of the league, because they woke up 8th place in the Atlantic Division this morning. And if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, that they were 8th place at the Olympic break, I would have assumed everyone was hurt and it all went down the drain. And some ways
they were 10 games below 500, not 6 above right now.
Exactly.
Six, five or 6.
They're playing good hockey. A couple wins and a couple losses in the out-of-town scoreboard can do wonders, and it might tonight. I'm just curious what you think that the team should do or what they might do here at the deadline with about 5 games left after the break before it.
Yeah. I think it's a little too late, unfortunately. I think they might do a couple of tweaks, like classic Steos tweaks. But the thing is so let's talk about Nick Jensen like we have almost every single time. And you know what? He's playing all right tonight.
I did, and I wanted to mention the chat. So funny. So I saw a shift. He had a great play, made a little spin, moved the puck up the ice. It was a good shift that I mentioned. Nice play by Jensen. Then later in the shift, blows a tire harmlessly. Blows a tire. I look at the chat. Everyone, Jensen blew a tire. Jensen blew a tire. It's all people are seeing. The damage has been done with Nick Jensen, but I agree. He's having okay night so far.
Yeah, I think that the way that he's going to survive in this league moving forward, unless something drastically changes to, and not that he's not healthy right now, but to his mobility and to his, offensive prowess and like just his decision making, until something dramatically changes, he is going to have to try and find ways to simply survive out there. And tonight, I think he has. Like, he's rimmed the puck when he's needed to. He's got it to soft areas and got it to Shabbat. contained his man, haven't allowed a goal in 40 minutes, and he's played some good minutes. So, but with regards to him, honestly, like, I thought that they were showcasing him, which is a weird word to use with a guy who's played as poorly as he has, but I thought they were showcasing him for like the previous 20 games when we hadn't really seen Matt and Paolo at all. But the longer it goes on, the easier it is for the league to catch on, right? Like, I'm sorry, but there's no way that NHL scouts who are watching a team like the Ottawa Senators, who have been rumored to be a potential buyer or just active simply at the trade deadline, there's no way that these scouts are watching him as the season goes on and thinking like, oh, he could be an addition to a team, or, we'd take him for a 7th rounder or something like that. Like, I think they've kind of waited too long on that. And I think a similar story for their goaltending, right? Like, I think the jig is up that the Ottawa Senators are in dire straits right now with needing just consistent goaltending. Like, Linus Ullmark played really great the past couple of games. James Reimer is kind of a coin flip right now. And with the fact that, and I don't know I'm assuming Linus is sick tonight and whatever, but like, again, your number one goaltender is once again unable to play for you, right? So I think it would have been a lot easier 1 or 2 months ago to act quicker and find a guy in even free agency, like you found James Reimer, or make a little trade, look around the AHL and find someone who's got some decent numbers that's in the middle of his career or whatever. But now it feels like it's a little bit too late, and that they're simply just going to bank on the fact that like Linus is looking like he could play the majority of games down the stretch if all goes well. Maybe Levy comes back up at some point, and hopefully Reimer is actually an NHL goaltender. But I just don't see, unless you want to mortgage even more of the future, like at this point of the season, what are you going to do? So I would lean towards I think they make 1 or 2 really, really small trades, but there's no big fish. There's no big fish for them. I don't think.
I'm with you, yeah, and I just think that maybe the mentality, and we talked about a guy like Nick Cousins, who's a UFA, Nick Jensen, UFA, David Perron, who's injured right now, coming right back around the deadline, probably UFA, Claude Giroux, UFA, Lars Eller, guys that aren't huge pieces to your roster, but are very complementary pieces right now, right? And you just wonder. I know I spent a lot of time listening to Toronto media when they're losing, and the talk around that town was like, let's sell. Like, let's just mail it in this season. Another team without a 1st-round pick this season, all if they don't finish bottom 5. Like the mentality of each team is different, and I'm just curious if there's any sort of, reasoning you could see the Sens selling. I don't think that would sell, for lack of a better term, with the fans whatsoever. Like, if they turned around and got a 3rd-round, 4th-round pick for Nick Cousins, no one's celebrating in the streets in Ottawa. I'm just saying that with where they are on the stand, like if things go wrong here in the 3rd period, they lose this 8 points out at the Olympic break. That's a steep hill to climb, and like you're kind of cutting your losses in that case. I'd be shocked if they did that. I'd rather they do nothing than do that if that's the answer. I'm just wondering if you think that's even a thing they should consider, like just recouping some kind of assets.
It's weird though, because it feels like they're one of the very, very few teams who are kind of in limbo right now. So like you've got 8 teams obviously in the playoffs that are going to be buyers, right? Like,
yeah,
no one in their right mind right now, especially with how the bar for making it this season is going to be so high. No one in their right mind is not going to be a buyer in that top 8. But then you've got a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets who have won 7 in a row outside, who like, how could, and with the way that they're playing right now and the bonus boost, how could you not convince yourself that you're a buyer? Then there's the Florida Panthers, who I don't know if they have room to add even more to a roster like that, but they have a lot of injuries, and being 2-time Stanley Cup champions back to back, how could you not convince yourself that, hey, we just need another piece for this run to insulate us while we have a couple of guys out to injury? Like, you could kind of make a case for everyone who's within like 10 points of the playoffs in the East right now. And Ottawa, it's weird. Like, of course, they're a long ways out, but it's almost like you can't convince, and it doesn't have to do anything with how they're playing, because if you just look at how they're playing, then yeah, be a buyer. Of course, you're playing great hockey, and there's a couple of small holes in your lineup in the forward core and the D core that you could plug a couple of holes there and be better for it. But you just look at the draft picks that you have, the few prospects that you have, and how well, like you mentioned, that the veterans are playing, and it's like, well, what do we do? Because I feel like the only thing that you're going to be able to do, even if it's a small trade, is take a chance. And it would feel very uncharacteristic of this team because of how they have, consistently said this season, basically, trust the process. We're playing really well right now. It would be entirely uncharacteristic for them to go back on that and say, actually, we really needed to do this, and this is the piece that's going to get us over the hump. They're over the hump with regards to how they're playing. It's just they're literally just not getting the points. So I think, unfortunately, like, he's getting a bad rap recently for not making moves when I think he's probably needed to. But I think Staios is going to continue to be steady, or if you're critical, sleepy, because I don't think there's a lot happening. Really, and I could totally be wrong. There's guys that are far more connected than I.
Hey, and we're not on here for your insider knowledge, Callum. Don't worry, we're here for some analysis. And I agree with you. The thing is, the Cousins and the Zetterlund trades last deadline last year came out of nowhere. We knew that there were like whispers about them wanting to move Norris, but Cousins in particular, and the Zetterlund thing was on nobody's radar and came in at the end of the deadline. So I'm just curious if there's a move like that, and also important to mention with those guys, people with term in the age of this core.
Yeah.
Not exactly deadline type of trades, but made at the deadline. So I'm just curious if anything like that comes to fruition. But I just think we're in store for more of a 2024 deadline for Staios, which was his first one where he shipped Vladimir Tarasenko for a conditional pick. I don't think they'll ship anyone out, but I think it'll be more of that vibe, unless they can find a right shot defenseman with term that fits the age of Sanderson and Zub and Shabbat.
Yeah, those two trades you mentioned, though, they made so much sense.
That's what I mean.
I cannot think of a trade right now unless you fleece someone, right? Wow. I can't think of a trade right now that would really make sense for this team.
It's amazing that Buffalo's doing so well, but man, Norris has played like 25 games for them. Like it on paper, it's a fleece, but the fact that the Sabres are doing so well makes it not look like that. But I mean, they got a second round pick for it too. The Zetterlund thing, obviously, I think the expectation on Zetterlund was much higher than it should have been, myself included. I actually think he's having a good game tonight. If he's able to play like that on the fourth line, value to me at $4.5 million, whatever he's making. I think he's fine. I know people are frustrated with him. Quick thought here, Colin. We're right at the beginning of the third period. Olympics. We're not going to speak for a couple weeks on here because of the Olympics. I know we're fired up for Canada. I'm just curious what you are looking to see from the Sens top dogs. And yes, I am talking about Lars Eller. No, I'm kidding. Jake Sanderson, Tim Stützle, I'm very excited to see for Germany with Draisaitl and Seider, and obviously Brady for Team USA. Just big stage for these Sens stars, and really we haven't seen it like the rest of the league since 2014. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, for me, the Olympics are the most patriotic I ever am. So what I'm looking to see from Jake Sanderson and Brady Tkachuk is the worst hockey they've ever played in their lives.
I think they should scratch number 85.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll be watching Tim, I think, the most. I think that the German team is really interesting to me because it's the best they've ever assembled. It's not even close. And they're in a group where they're going to lose to the US probably, but they're probably going to make it into the playoffs and have a quarterfinal match, and we'll see where that goes. It'd be cool if, I have a piece coming out tomorrow about just like a look at, what you should expect from the Sens at the Olympics and who could get minutes where and whatever. And one of the points that I looked into was Maj Sogard actually might start a game. It feels like he actually might, because Fredrik Andersen has an 8.71 right now, and the other guy plays in the Swedish Elite League. So we'll see if he can get into a game. But I very quickly, I think I mentioned this on Locked On my first interview. I watch the Olympics like a hawk, and I can do it a lot more now, being like a stay-at-home dad in the middle of the day, and then I work in the evenings mostly. I watch anything and I just cry the whole time. Like there's something about the world stage, watching my country and watching all these like journeyman athletes, because there's so many amazing stories. And I'll watch curling and just be like tears streaming down my face. It's like
Great.
My poor wife. I've never cried, or I rarely cry in like emotional moments. Family and all these other things, and then like sports, it just gets me, man. So
It's special.
It's such an amazing time, and I can't wait to just soak up everything.
And I think there's been, just before I let you go, there's been a lot of talk, especially with the captain, because of his injury and because of some maybe inconsistent play here and there this season and how the team's been doing, about him kind of holding back, or like in quotations, because that's obviously just hearsay. But like when you think about this stage that the Olympics are, what it means to those guys, like it just is hard to contextualize. And I don't blame players for having that on their mind. Just obviously can't leak into what we see every day, but it's happening around the league. Like look at Jack Hughes in New Jersey, not playing, but he's going to play in the Olympics. Like it could be worse here in Ottawa. Brady's actually, I think, also having a good game tonight. So
I think just a very quick thought on that, because I think the game's on right now. But I think that if he were not playing as well as he is the past few games, like Brady's really like ramping up right now. I think it would be a lot worse if he went and played his heart out, like we expect him to for the US. Having said that, though, I think what's going to happen is he's going to be a monster again, and Sens fans are going to feel the way they're going to feel. And I think that's fair to a certain degree. We'll see what happens. But you know what? He's looked a lot better recently. Point per game player. And hopefully they can pull it out tonight.
He's, I believe, sixth
pull it off
or fifth. Pull it off.
Pull it off tonight.
We'll see. Big points on the line. They could be 6 points back of a playoff spot in the break. Callum, appreciate you joining in. We'll see you after the break.
Thanks, buddy. Go Canada.
All right, go Canada. That's been Callum Fraser with the Ottawa Citizen and the Ottawa Sun. Love catching up with Callum during Sens games. And he is right. The puck is down. We're just a minute and a half into the third period here. And an offensive zone draw for the Sens. The shots are 22-8 at the beginning of the third period here. Obviously, a lot discussed there with Callum, and a lot of stuff that's fun to talk about. We went big picture, the deadline. I think he made some good points about what they should do. I think he's right about them being pretty, there's not really much out there that would be making sense for what they need right now. And that need is a top 4 right shot defenseman, which feels like a team needs every single season, to be honest. There's Pinto making Vladar freeze the puck. Is that Vladar? Is that a new goalie? Did I miss that? Is that a different goalie in that? No, I'm wrong, right? I'm just misseeing that. I thought Vladar was a bit smaller. 1-0 lead in the third period. This right now so far feels like more of a game we saw last season. A lot of low scoring, Low scoring affair. Eller behind the net. That is Vladar, yeah. That was just my bad. I thought I saw like 83 or something. I was confused. Very confused. Good play by Lars Eller. It's close. Offensive zone time is nearly even. It's been like an extra shift for the Sens. 16 more seconds. Here's Halliday on the forecheck. Really good test here for the Sens in this third period. They played, I thought they were having a great period in Carolina. That was so clinical. And then they just had that one brain fart and that cost them the game, but they were having a great period because Sanderson scored early on the power play. And then the next 15 minutes were just pretty clinical. And then they let it slip away, which is tough, but their process has been there for the third period, the last few games on the road. We'll just see if they're able to kind of pull through here. In Philly with a 1-goal lead. It's 1-0. Claude Giroux loses it. A shot from the point. It was in traffic. Doesn't get through. Giroux down the ice. And we're going to see a lot of that. A lot of just dumping it in, get the next line out there for the Sens. Just nurse this thing home. That's what they're going to try and do. Clogging up the neutral zone, forcing dump-ins. Konechny's going to get it on Sanderson, and he gets there. Shot from the point. I don't know if that got through to Reimer. Nice block by Pinto there in the slot. Konechny gives it away, and here come the Sens. Oh, and Sanderson's joining the rush. They got numbers now. Amadio wide. Throws it to the net. Stopped, and here come the Flyers. Zegras moving up with Konechny, who shoots. Reimer the save. Oh, and Spence knocked the rebounds wide, but that was close. And Spence just gets it down the ice. Dylan Cousins moving up. Dylan Cousins, I think, had a huge goal in Philly last year, right after they beat Detroit. So he had goals in back-to-back games. I remember that was the coming out. Look at Brady just shoved Michkov down. Here comes Tkachuk. Wide. Gets it out front. That was a good rush by Brady. I think he's having a good game tonight. His legs are going. Jensen got Hathaway on the boards. Down low here. Jensen's stick gets in the way. And Clevin takes it up. And he's got time behind the net now. Fourth line getting some minutes. They've had a pretty regular shift tonight, which, again, like I've said, I think is great. It's just I'm noticing it. They're out there a lot more. Eller in particular has got a lot of ice time tonight. Halliday and Eller going to battle now. Zetterlund's chin strap is undone. Interesting. I don't know how that happened. Jensen behind the net again. Flips it up. And it hits Zetterlund in the back. And the Sens don't get it deep. Batherson hounding on the forecheck. And here's Timmy. Regrouping with Sanderson. A lot of regrouping going on here. Already 6 minutes into the period. In the offensive zone here. Sanderson's got it on the point. Throws it to the corner. And Drysdale comes out with it. Now they get it deep into the Sens zone. Folks, this is a really boring game, but we'll take it for the Sens right now with a 1-goal lead. I'm doing my best to walk us through this. This is a sleepy hockey game. This feels like the first two periods of the Pittsburgh game for the most part. And then I leave for the third period for my hockey, and Pillsy gets to talk about the best period of the game with all the goals and everything happening. But so far, it's not the case here in this third period. But as the minutes, kind of tick down here, I feel better and better about it. There's a whistle there. And I believe they're going to commercial break. Folks, I'm going to take a quick break myself. I'll be right back before the puck is down. Don't go anywhere. Live watch party. Locked On Senators. Be right back. We're back. We're back. Just like we never left. $12 something to go, I think. You know who's not going to the Olympics? They just showed him on the bench there. Daniel Alfredsson. Sweden has not asked him to coach again, which is curious. I'm not sitting here saying Alfie is the best coach ever. I don't think he's bad, but you know, it just feels like a weird switch to make. I think they did okay at the Four Nations thing. I know they weren't in the final two, but I think Sweden's a team that could definitely win a gold medal this year and no one would bat an eye. I'm just kind of curious why they didn't really want to bring Alfie back. So he'll have a few weeks off back at home, which will be nice. Back in God's country. The Flyers ice it there. 12-19 left in the third. 1-0 the Sens lead. 1-0. Sanderson's got it at the point. Down low to Kachuk. Does a good job protecting it. Got Drysdale all over him. Wow. Well, Sanderson took a big bump there, but he still made a play. What a play by Jake Sanderson. Brady gets it deep for a change. Cousins plays it back to Reimer, and Pinto will get it up and out. And away goes Amadio here. He's got Nick Cousins streaking. Oh. Didn't quite connect there, but this line, these two wingers have been buzzing around, Amadio and Cousins. Oh, Nick Cousins just took a huge hit. Right along the wall there. Here come the Flyers into the zone. Bounced in on Reimer, and he holds it. That'll count as a shot, I think. But that's barely one. That's probably why the Sens are up there for their expected goals against, because that just trickled in on him. I think he's had a couple like that tonight that have counted as shots. The 10th shot for the Flyers credited. 24-10 on the shot clock, but it's only a 1-0 game. There's Hunter Shepard on the bench. Teleported in from Belleville. The Sens get it down the ice and onto Vladar. And he's got to freeze it because they swarm it. Nice. So I think the Flyers can't change now. I think that's a rule. If it's a shot from outside the blue line and the goalie freezes it, you aren't allowed to change. So the guys who are out there for them should stay out. I think they want them out there because it's their top line, but I think that's a new-ish rule. There's Rick Tocchet. There's a kid sleeping behind him. Just fully asleep, that kid. Zub plays it down low to Batherson. Puck bounces on him, and they lose it. And here comes Tippett with some speed. Tippett down to Couturier to the net. Oh, did Reimer get a piece of that? What a save if he did. And then Timmy gives it away right after. Flyers are kind of buzzing again. I don't know if Reimer got a piece of that. We'll have to see that again. Here's Timmy, picks it off. Nice play. Brings it up the ice. Gets it deep, and he's going to go chase it. Look at Timmy. Look at Stutzla. What a play. Oh, is that Erlenidis hit him in the face? I hate when the camera changes like that, man. Just stay on the play. Things happen too fast. I missed that whole shot. Look, they hit Juleson up high, the pass that Timmy made. Let's see this first play. This is the most exciting stretch in the whole game. Couturier. Yeah, nice pad stop by James Reimer. All right. That's a huge save. Extends the leg. Great stop. And then did he get the second one too? He did with his shoulder. James Reimer. All right. Huge stop. And then Timmy had a great forecheck there. That was awesome. It was 1-on-4 and he comes up with the puck. Oh, and here come the Flyers again. They got some legs now. 10 minutes left. A lot of hockey. Oh, a little stick at Reimer there. Is that Hathaway? He's got to make an impact somehow. That was a huge save by James Reimer. Okay. Big save by James Reimer. That's a difference maker, man. That was a nice move by Couturier, I think that was. I think it was Couturier. Let's check the out-of-town scoreboard. Now's the time. Let's see what these results mean for the Sens. What does a... Okay, so the Sabres have made it 3-2 in the third. Keep an eye on that. If they force overtime, not good. Lightning still up 3-0 late in the second. But Tage Thompson scored in the third period on the power play. Now Pittsburgh's on a power play. It's 3-2 for Pittsburgh against Buffalo. Need the Penguins to hold on there. Any losses from people in playoff spots is a bonus for a team like the Sens that are chasing. Showing the Jordan Staal goal right now. Devastating. Devastating. That could have been such a big win, man. Would have been a galvanizing win. That's how I like to put it. Galvanizing. Word of the day. All right. Lots of time left, though. Got to focus on this one. And they've played a good game. I think overall, the Sens have played a good game so far. He won that right to Reimer. Eller did. Does that count as a shot on goal? Probably not. I'm just so focused on what counts as a shot on goal now because of how few the Sens have given up. They're focusing on that kid behind Tocchet again. That's great. Flyers win it. Sanheim, stopped by Reimer. Konechny, stopped by Reimer. 2 big saves back-to-back for James Reimer. Flyers are starting to push here. Sanderson behind the net with Zegras. Flyers come up with it. Ristolainen, middle of the ice, that barely missed. Had a good sight for that one. Amadio gets it out. This has been the Flyers' best push so far in this game. They're only crediting one shot there for the Flyers, which, like, I'm analyzing it, but it looked like Reimer made 2 saves there to me. So I don't quite know why. Sometimes they take time and they're delayed, but there's Dylan Cousins now. He's got some space with Nick Cousins. The Cousins are on a rush. It's just weird having 2 guys with that last name because it's not a common last name. And I know they're spelled differently, and here's Michkov with a bit of room. Tries to go around Shabbat, nothing doing. But almost steals a puck from Nick Jensen. Shabbat Gets it to the corner for Dylan Cousins, who shovels it up the wall and gives it away. Here's Cam York with space. Blocked. It's a bad giveaway, man. They had the puck. Flyers have it up top. Drysdale in the middle. Back down to Drysdale. Puck bounced on him, and now they're going to try and send Brady. Oh, he was home free. But now the Flyers get it back. Couturier in the slot. Stopped by Reimer. Brink has it up top. Good puck possession here for Philly. Tired Sens. Ristolainen can't get by Shabbat. Now back to Jensen. Right back over to Shabbat. He's got some time. All right, they survived that shift. No shots, but that was some good pressure by Philly. Just elected not to shoot. It was a long shift for Dylan Cousins in particular. Now Timmy's on it in the corner with Batherson in the offensive zone. Anytime in the O-zone in a one-goal game in the third period is valuable. You just get a little bit of a forecheck going. Nice play by Stützle in the middle. Wow. Batherson can't get a shot through. Giroux gets hammered in the corner. Here's Clevin with Dvorak on him. Makes a play. Timmy moves it up to Amadio, who's up there. Nick Cousins steals the puck. To Pinto in the slot, doesn't get a shot off. Killing time here, though. Nice forecheck by the Sens. Zub's got it in the corner now, over to Sanderson. Takes a big hit. Philly's taking some runs now at a lot of the Sens. 6 minutes to go. Drysdale up to Zegras. Down to Brink in front of the net. Nice stick by Shabbat. Greg takes a hit to make a play. Kachuk moving in on the forecheck. They're down to 3 lines now, not throwing out the 4th line here. Here's Bobby Brink. Shoots. That goes just wide. In the corner, Shabbat's got it now. Nice patience. Moves it up to Zetterlund. Puck gets deep. Tippett dumps it in. A lot of dumping in for both teams right now. There's a lot of dumping and no chasing. Oh, they're calling that icing? Holiday didn't touch it? All right, 5:15 left. Sens ice it with the 4th line out. They're adamant that they touched it in the middle of the ice, though. Let's see if they change this face-off. They're talking about it. Green is rattled. They think they touched it. I don't think they're calling them, getting them back. So it's a 4th line icing, basically, with the 3rd pairing. All right. Big moment here for the Sens. Got to win this draw if you're Lars Eller. And he wins it. Scramble. Jordan Spence has it. Gets it down. Zetterlund, Glass, out. They survive. Nice. It's amazing what a face-off win can do, because that could have been bad. That was the Flyers' top guys. But the Sens get the change they want on the road. Sanderson goes up the wall. Nice play. Under 5 to go here. 1-goal lead for the Sens. 1-0. Here comes Philly into the zone. Thwarted. Nick Cousins gets it out. All right. It's 4-0 for Tampa Bay now over Florida, by the way. Nice pressure by Greg on Ristolainen. Wow. Forces a turnover a little bit, or just kills time, if anything. Here comes Konechny. Blocked by Chabot. Oh, now there's a bit of a scrum here. All right, go to break. 4:08 left. Sens are doing a decent job, but the Flyers are doing doing what they can, I guess. It's been a good defensive game. Really good defensive game for Ottawa. Just gotta I've been scarred too many times, man. I've been scarred too many times with games like this where they look great, and then boom, right at the end. You know? On this live stream alone. I think this is what, game 13, 14, maybe 15. I'll have to count it up. We'll do a little tally after this game during the break and stuff like that. But I mean, lately in the past month, some of the games the Sens have let slip away that they've looked awesome and have been just one too many, far too many. So just bring this home. 4 minutes left, man. They've grinded for, quick math there, 56 minutes so far. Just power through the next 4. Find a way. The Flyers are like obviously frustrated. Konechny looked frustrated there. Just get in their heads. Four minutes to go. Come on, bring this home for us. Send us into the break with a good taste in our mouths, man. Come on. 4 minutes to go. Grind this one out. Let's go into the Olympic break happy. Feeling good about Sens hockey. This will be a nice identity win. Pull this through. .408 left. 4:08 left. Getting nervous. Got to win this game. Have to win this game. There's TikTok Zegras. He might score now that I said that. Lars Eller out there for the face-off against Dvorak in the defensive zone. Flyers win it. Here's Sanheim moving down. Throws it out front. No stick. Sanderson makes a great play behind the net. Did you see that? What a play. Oh, he's crazy, man. That's unreal. Under 4 minutes left. 3:50. Home stretch. Nick Cousins battling there. Flyers are still kind of hanging out in the neutral zone. Trying to make a play. Get it up to Dvorak. He dumps it in on Sanderson. Moves it up the wall. And they get it up high. Here's Drysdale walking the line. Shoots. That's blocked. Zub gets in front of that one. Sanderson behind the net. Up to Giroux. He chips it out. Here's Timmy. And he bobbled it, so he doesn't get it deep. But the Flyers just throw it right back to Jensen, who takes his time. He should give it over to Chabot. There he goes. 3 minutes to go. Chabot with a move behind the net. Gets it up and they get it deep. And in goes Tkachuk on the forecheck. Here comes the Flyers. Oh, Brink with a huge hit. Cousins got flattened there. But they get it out. 2.5 minutes. Dylan Cousins has been all over the place in this game. Skate blades getting hit. Got to think Vladar will go here. Soonish, maybe. All right, Flyers have possession. He's probably gone now. Yeah, they've pulled him. Here we go. 6-on-5. Here's Cam York. Floats it in. That just goes wide. Zegras on the half wall up top. Float it through. Reimer makes a save. That looks shaky, though. Flyers get it back. Tip it at the point. Down low to Zegras. Back up high. He walks the line. Back over to Tippett. To Zegras in the middle. He shoots that high. Sanderson battles. Flyers get it. Minute and a half here. Drysdale up top. To Cam York in the slot. Tippett. That gets blocked. Flyers get it back again, though. Drysdale at the point. Down to Zegras. Whiffed on it. They still have possession. They're moving it around nice. Drysdale up top. Scores. I mean, this is comedy. Comedy. Absolute comedy. Like they can't win hockey games. 1-1. All of that for nothing. You could just see it coming, man. You could see it coming the entire time. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. There was a shooting gallery at the end for a team you held to 12 shots all game. Like it's not a dangerous shot. Reimer couldn't really see it. But you want him to have it. Like this team is just, it's comedy. It's comedy. Tie game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like you do all that work. All of that work. That's a stop he's got to have. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. Under a minute to go. Timmy's got it behind the net. Up to Spence. He gets a good shot off. Now here comes Philly. 40 seconds left. Couturier gets it down. Spence has it. Gives it away. Konechny rims it around. He's got possession. Now Kachuk's got it. There we go. 20 seconds left. Tkachuk gets it deep. Like that's not, man, that's not blowing it. That's not like they choked and like they stopped playing. That's what you do, man. Like if it's 6-on-5, you got to sit back and kind of like let things happen the way they do. But there were shot after shot after shot. And then for the first time all game, the Sens aren't really able to recover it and recoup. And then they just don't get a save, man. And like, I don't know. I don't know what you want the team to do differently all game. And I know it's only one goal, but like, and he probably couldn't see it properly. Obviously he couldn't. It's a great shot, seeing eye shot. He can't see. But like, it's just, you can't write it worse than this. To overtime we go, where the Sens have not fared well. They are 2-7 in overtime this season. One of those wins was in Philly. But man, here we go. They're 0-2 on overtime on the stream. Crazy. I just don't know. I don't know how else to describe this game or this season without just saying this team is cursed. Like the team defense through, like I said, 54 minutes was unbelievable. And yes, they sat back, but that's also in part the Flyers pushing, you know, like they need a goal. They're hungry. They pull their goalie. They've got 6 guys out there. And to their credit, did a good job on the 6-on-5 at going and getting pucks and hunting them down. But if you're the Sens, like, what more can you do? And people are just going to say, don't sit back. Well, like, the other team's got to say in it too. Crazy. And you can also erase all this with an overtime win right now. Go get an overtime win. Go get the second point. So currently 7 points out of a playoff spot. Go get the next one. Got to find a way. Your top guys have to come through here. It's got to be Brady, Timmy, Sanderson, Cousins, Batherson, Shabbat. One of those guys has to get it done here. They're 2-7 in overtime this season. 2-7. They win the draw. Giroux wins it, and he'll get right off probably to get Brady out there. And here we go. Sanderson's got it. And did they ice it? They sent it right down on Vladar, and Timmy went right at it. Brady gets the puck back. Okay, possession's important. Possession is important. I'd love to see an overtime win. Here's Brady. He's got it wide. He got taken down a little bit. Nothing. And the Flyers come out 2-on-1 here. Konechny's got it. And he missed wide. And now Brady and Timmy come back the other way. Here's Timmy taking it to the net. Stützle scores! Tim Stützle, man! What a goal! This guy, unbelievable this season. His second overtime winner in Philadelphia. And disaster reverted. Disaster reverted. They got the 2 points. It wasn't a perfect regulation win where you don't give a point to the other team. But they got the 2 points. They got 2 huge points. Konechny misses. That's lucky. Brady makes a nice play over to Timmy, and look at this move. Oh, Vladar just got danced. Tim Stützle have a season, man. 5-game goal streak for the German. What a finish. What a goal. Oh, that's so special. I can't say enough about the German this season, folks. I said the big guys have to step up. Sens win in overtime. They are now 6 points out of a playoff spot. You might laugh at me and say that's too many points, but that's a 5-1 stretch heading into the Olympic break. Maybe. They got hot towards the end of the break. We'll see when they come back. Team Germany's got a stud, man. That was a special overtime winner to send us in the Olympic break. Let's go. They've clawed their way back to this point. Can they keep doing it post-break? Great way to wrap up this clump of live streams. Had a blast doing them. We will be back after the Olympic break, 1,000%. Sens win 2-1 in overtime. Nick Cousins and Tim Stützle get the goals. James Reimer makes 14 saves for the win. And the Sens go into the break on a 5-1 stretch. I believe 8-2-2 over the last 12. They got hot at the right time. We'll see you February 26th. I hope everyone has a great break. Stay tuned for the postcast. We'll be live right here on YouTube. Play Danger Flutes, man. Let's go. Winning on a high note into the break. What a goal by Timmy Stützle. Have a good night, folks. Really enjoyed sticking around for quite a boring game, but it ended up being fun at the end. Hope everyone has a great night. Go Sens go. And like I said, stick around for the postcast. We'll be right here live on YouTube. Thanks, folks.